Good morning. Lekker koffiekies. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Come in. Sit. Let's have a look at this one. This is a lekker one. It's an amazing one for me. Such a fresh new reminder, such nice perspective. It's lekker. So, how are you? Are you doing good? I hope you're doing better than you did yesterday. I hope you're feeling better than you felt yesterday. I hope things look better for you than they did yesterday. And if you feel they don't, I pray that God will touch you today and help you make it at least just a little bit better. As I'm sitting with my morning routine this morning, all sorts of things just come and go through my mind like the week plays off and all kinds of weird different things, just like a weird busy mind this morning. Interesting one. And as I was praying, I get this thought of how we are connected to people, guilty by association is the term that a lot of people use. With if you think about Jesus, the disciples were guilty by association. That's one of the things that caused Peter to deny Jesus 3 times. They're like, oh, there's this guy. He was one of his walkers. And he's like, no. Scared of guilty by association. Afraid at the time. And it's an interesting thought when you look at it from a day-to-day perspective. I was thinking of people who, as far as I can see, they have. I mean, if you're in a moment, and quite often in certain moments operate without integrity, then to me you don't have integrity. And this is not me being a judge of it. This is just me looking with, for the lack of a better term, a wise eye. If people are dishonest in little things and justifying wrongful behavior with little things, that makes them dishonest, full stop. And again, not me being judgmental. It's just when you see these things, the Bible warns us that you're not supposed to be foolish. We need to operate from a place of wisdom. We must be aware. We must be cautious. And then I thought of some people who I won't trust them as far as I can throw them with, with my life, definitely not, but even with earthly things, with small things, because they are dishonest in small things. I won't trust them with small things, because to me that would be a foolish thing to do. And then I thought of when you get to different things, maybe you need different things throughout the year. Like, let's say tax season comes around, or you have appliances that need servicing, or your car needs a service, or you need to go buy something out of the ordinary, something like stuff like that. Anything really. And then, out of habit, or because these people are around you, you'll ask them. Or sometimes when certain times of the year, like tax season, I know a lot of people suggest use this person and that person and this person. It's either a business thing, or it's a friend who's trying to get themselves going, or whatever the case may be. But in those cases, if it comes from these people who I won't trust as far as I can throw them, if it comes from them, I immediately question the person that is being suggested. Guilty by association. That's what that means. That's what it means. So, I don't feel comfortable about contacting those people because of, as I said, the ones that are suggesting it. I've seen them walk without integrity and in dishonesty. So then immediately I question the characteristics of these people off the bat, those particular two things. I think you can ask any man, those are the two most important things in my life that I try and live by. And if you want an explanation of integrity, how are you and who are you when nobody else is watching? If you are left alone in a room with $1 million, and even if you take some, nobody will ever know. would you take it if it's not yours? That question, depending on how you answer it, should tell you whether you have integrity or not. And that's not even based upon sinful actions. Stealing is a sin, but that's not even bringing that into consideration. It's just, if you're in a room with $1 million, let's say it's all in one bag. Let's make it easy. But it's not yours. Would you take it if nobody else will ever know? Anyway, so, but that's the thing. That's the thing. So I immediately question these people being suggested over here, or immediately question them, or their integrity. I question their honesty, and then I go, no, I don't think I will contact these people. I'll rather go out and search for my own, purely because I immediately, you see. But that's also, well, we'll get to that. The Bible talks about we got to be careful and we got to be mindful of who we mix with and how the relationships are, and almost like suggest about whom you should walk with, says the word. So if we look at Proverbs 13, verse 20 says, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. 1 Corinthians 15, Paul writes, do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. One of the translations says good morals. Bad company corrupts good behavior, one of the translations say. And a great example of that is, if I look at the past of my life and even how easily it happens these days, even still, is if I'm around people that swear all the time, very, very quickly a swear word slips out of my mouth, and it shocks me at first. But the second one is easier, and the third one is easier, as long as I remain in that company. Just using an example of, because swearing is it's not a nice thing. It's not nice. Just using that as an example. So, and then Psalm 1 verse 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. Very first verse of Psalms. 2 Corinthians 6. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness? And what communion has light with darkness? And what accord has Christ with Belial? Or what part has a believer with an unbeliever? It's the association thing. Proverbs 22, verse 24 and 25, make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man do not go, lest you learn his ways and set a snare for your soul. Straight down, the smartest, wisest book in the Bible, from the period of the wisest man alive. Don't go with an angry guy. You'll set for yourself a snare. Hanging around people who talk bad things. Even if you're not a gossiper, hanging around people that gossip all the time, that's bad behavior. That'll corrupt good morals. The Bible even warns you actually against gossip. It says, beware of the idle talk. You'll be held accountable for that idle talk over there. Why are we talking about bad stuff about people anyway, It's one thing if you're asking for interest to find out a little bit of something before you approach somebody. That's a different ballgame. But if you just sit and talk nonsense about other people, most of the time it's because you're unhappy about your own life, and you're trying to paint these pictures life as a worse place so you can feel better about yourself. That's all it is in the end of the day. Anyway, so don't make friends with the wrong people. Don't be unequally yoked. Don't stand in the path of sinners. Now, hang on a sec here. How do we then spread the Gospels on if we can't stand in the path of sinners? That's a good question. But we need to point out there's a difference between talking with people and walking with people. There's a one-letter difference between those two words, but it's a very big difference between the meaning of what they are. So you just got to bear that in mind. But these associations speak to who's around you all the time as you walk through life. Who are your associations? Who's your people? Who's your what is it? One saying that I learned, or that I see people use so much these days. I'm not going to remember the word now, am I? It's about find your clan or find your something and love them hard. Yeah. If you find that people though, find your crew, find your crowd, something like that. Anyway, love them hard, yes, but make sure it's the right people. Make sure it's the right people you need. Make sure it's people that add value to your life. And of course, you yourself need to be a person who adds value to others' lives. But people who add, not people who destroy, not people who destruct, not people who force you. You know, these days I see a lot of peer pressure hide behind what people call teamwork. If you don't do this with us, you're not a team player. That's peer pressure, by the way, if you haven't noticed it. If you maybe didn't realize that. Anyway, so when you are going in a certain direction, walk into a certain place, you got to remember that not everybody is coming with you. There's a lot of people I've heard that say when you start walking with Jesus, and I've said it out loud myself sometimes because of the wrong feeling that kind of creeps in, but when you walk with Jesus and closer to Jesus, some say it's a very lonely road. And it does initially kind of sort of almost become one because people fall off. People who aren't walking with you, who aren't walking in your direction, that bond you had, whatever has there, they're gonna fall off. Because I don't know why, because but if you look at it with your physical eyes, then yes, it can look lonely at first. But it's definitely not. That I can tell you. I can even tell you. You know, people say God removes bad people from your life. God removes certain people from your life because He heard the conversations you didn't. All these things, and there's definitely truth behind it. But I want to give you a slightly different perspective because sure, God orchestrates all things. He makes all things work for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28. Sometimes, however, these people just fall off. Now, let me tell you this. So, if you don't keep up, you're going to fall behind. So, if people aren't running at the same speed as me and people aren't going in the same direction as me, they're going to be taken away out of my life. They're going to be removed from my life. The relationship is going to grow dim and slim and non-existent at some point because we're not going in the same direction. And even if we are going in the same direction, if I'm moving and they're not really moving, then I go. You see, they're going to fall behind. So either they fall behind or they fall off. And but as we go on the speed, you know, it's that lack of action that pretty much takes them out of your life. That's not God removing people. That's just people falling off by their own decisions and lack of action or actions. That's it. So well, while you're walking in this direction, though, you'll catch up to some people. You'll meet different people, you know, because the directions go like that. The directions of everybody's path is different. Everybody's speed is different. So you'll catch up to people. You'll cross paths with people. Some people you'll catch up to, and you end up running the same pace because you'll be speeding up to a certain place, and then you catch up with somebody, and you guys are for some reason going the same direction and the same speed. Why? Because that's how it's supposed to be at that time. You're supposed to be walking and running with each other because you're adding value to each other. You're building the same thing. God has them there for a reason. It's all these things. So, um, with the same speed people, though, those could be people who are there for quite some time, sometimes even permanently. The different speed people or the different direction people are the people I would say is there for a reason or a season, or a reason and a season. Sometimes you need to learn something quick from somebody and they go on with their life. Sometimes it's a quick thing also that you teach somebody and they move on with their life. But you'll in fact also learn. You also learn. So that's the different speeds and different directions. The different associations that come and go along the way. But along this walk, we've got to be mindful of the associations that we make. We've got to be careful of that. As the Bible pretty much warns, you know, be in the company of wise, not in the company of fools. If we meet somebody and all kinds of people say all kinds of bad stuff about this one person that we met, you know, you see, we've got to operate from a not foolish way either. Try and be a little bit wise about these things. We can't just run away because everybody be saying bad stuff about this one person. So, because that's not fair. It is judgmental because, let's face it, we as humans, we shouldn't judge at all, but we have this tendency to do these things. But we can't just run away because that's not fair. Because now we're making assumptions based on the opinions of others, which doesn't work either. Because not everybody that says something about somebody knows that person. So that being said, if there's many people, however, that are saying the same things, especially when it's bad stuff, we got to take it into consideration. Hold it like at the back of your mind, as we would say. Just um, uh, uh, um, be cautious, act cautiously when you do. But you got to remember that everybody still deserves that one shot, I feel. But we have to ask some questions as well when with these people saying all the same stuff. Are these people that associate with one another the whole time? Because birds of a feather, you know. Um, if it's different kinds of people, or whether it's people that if it's people that flock together, normally they'll have the same sort of opinions, assumptions, that sort of stuff. If it's different people saying the same stuff, then we got to ask: are they talking about now in this person and in this person's life? Are they talking about past stuff? Because sometimes people gaan on about stuff from years ago and they're still gaan on about it today, which isn't fair on that person anyway. And then we also, I feel, need to give that person still the benefit of the doubt. Give them a shot. Give them 2 minutes of your time, maybe longer. I use the number two, you know me. Give them a shot. Then grab a cup of coffee with them. Find out for yourself if there's any truth behind what people are saying. Fish it out. Because I believe somebody at least needs one chance, one little bit of your time, one on one, to see if there's any truth behind all these accusations that people be throwing at them. And the reason I say you've got to give them a shot, 1 Corinthians 13:7, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So when you meet somebody, hope that the stuff that the people saying isn't true. Believe in the best of people, because we want, but we got to operate cautiously. Remember that. Don't be foolish though. James 2:13, for judgment is without mercy to the one who has shown no mercy. Mercy triumphs over judgment. So have mercy with somebody enough to go to them and say, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. I just want to get to know you or chat to you a bit or whatever the case may be. Matthew 7. Oh, this is a nice one. Judge not, that you be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. So however you're going to be judging, you're going to be judged. And the standard you use, it will be used against you. Ephesians 4:2. Come with all lowliness and gentleness, with long suffering, bearing with one another in love. Coming back to yesterday, act in love. Act out of a place of love. Colossians 3. Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against a brother, even as Christ forgave you, so you must do also. Freely we receive, and freely we must give. I remember a few times in my life where people eventually came up to me and admitted to me that they had some ill-perceived initial ideas and thoughts and assumptions and opinions about me. Sometimes based on just my appearance or look or how I enter the room or whatever. Sometimes based off the opinions of others. And how after giving me the benefit of the doubt, spending some time with me going, dude, I don't understand why these people or this person said this stuff. Dude, I don't understand. I can't believe that this is the perception that I have had of you. Like you're not a bad guy at all. And I'm not trying to boast. I'm just trying to give an example of, but the people that have said some stuff, Maybe they had a bad run-in with me. Maybe they caught me on a bad mood, which fair enough is no excuse. But in the end of the day, we're all still human, huh? We all have bad days sometimes, don't feel too good, and we struggle to act out of love when we ourselves feel aggravated, when we are tired, when we might be sad. We suffer, we struggle to fight through those emotions and get the love of Jesus out. One of the training grounds that definitely for me as well. And you have to remember that not everyone who comments about you or comments on you knows you. I'm going to say that again. Remember that not everyone who has comments about you know you. That means bystanders who see how you operate your life, who see what's happening in your life, could be people that is only just jealous because they see these great and magnificent things happening in your life. They see where you came from, all this mislike, horrible, aggressive, kwaai bra, wat net nothing is good. To now all of a sudden over whatever period of time, smiling, joyous, happy, cool, somewhat popular, people love you, you attract all these people to you, getting all your people see that. And they are still in the same place. So some of them could just be jealous people and go, no, 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 that is just, whoa, that must be, ooh. Remember that. Unhappy people speak unhappy things in an attempt to make everybody unhappy. That is pretty much what it is. Hurt people hurt people. Meaning people who are hurt will hurt those around them. Especially if when they're in certain places. And we got to deal with that hurt. That's the only way to stop hurting, is dealing with the hurt. To stop hurting and to stop hurting. So just an amazing message for me this morning. Whew. It's moi. It's very a good one. And I hope in me sharing, I add some value to your life. Quick things that, as I just went through, don't judge people, period. That's God's job. Don't make assumptions of people based on the opinions of people, but take into consideration what they are saying. Don't be foolish. Give a person a benefit of the doubt, give them a chance. Act out of love, mercy, and kindness, meekness, long-suffering. Put on tender and loving kindness. I believe every person deserves at least one chance and some of your time. Not everybody that you meet will always be there. Some are associations, some will be touch and go. Be careful who you associate with. Guilty by association. Apply grace and mercy and love to everybody that's around you. We receive it daily for free. We receive it freely, above all kinds of levels that we can even comprehend. So we can at least try to apply more grace and mercy and love in every action to every person that is around us. We don't deserve grace, but we deserve to give grace. It's not about the other person deserving to receive grace. It's about us deserving to give grace. Because ultimately, freely we received, and freely we need to give. I hope you guys are blessed by this message this morning. This is really wowing me for a nice, fresh perspective. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bless you. Shalom, shalom.